Yesterday's riot at Capitol Hill did not stop the certification process of presidential votes for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Vice President Mike Pence and members of Congress reconvened just after 8 p.m. after Trump-backed rioters tried to overtake the U.S. Capitol. Joining us from just outside of D.C. is Washington football team head coach Ron Rivera. Thanks for joining us, Coach. Your practice facility in Ashburn, Virginia is about 33 miles away from the state capitol, sir. What time did you hear about what was going on, and what did you make of what you saw yesterday, sir?
Gosh, once we walked off the practice field, I heard all the buzz around the facility, and so we flipped on the television and we saw it, and it was disturbing. It surely was, to see the violence at our nation's capital. That really was disappointing.
Go ahead, Max.
Coach, Coach, you were brought in as the head coach of a dysfunctional franchise to partly change the culture, which you have clearly done. Everyone knew your reputation preceded you as a highly competent NFL head football coach. Did you have any thoughts about a kind of culture that leads to this sort of insurrection in the very city in which your team calls home?
To be honest with you, the whole attitude and thought process here was really just changing the way we looked at things and our attitude. The biggest thing that we all decided, more so than anything else, was that we were not going to be judged on what we used to be. We're going to be judged on who we're becoming. And when you look at what's going on in society today, people don't approach it that way. But I will say this: in Georgia, Stacey Abrams did that. She lost. She didn't go out and make a big fuss about it the wrong way. She went about it the right way, and that's what's impressive. That's how you change a culture. That's how you change an attitude. That's how you change a mindset. Okay, great. I lost. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to beat on the doors. I'm going to go out and I'm going to speak at these different events, and I'm going to alert people to what we can do. I'm going to alert people to how we can become. To me, that's the kind of role model you want. And the thing that I've learned, to be honest with you, because I was one of those early on that, I don't think athletes and coaches should get involved in politics, to where I'm one of those that realized that we do have a voice and people do listen to, and we've got to be the right kind of role models for people to follow.
Coach, it's interesting that you say that, because sticking with this subject, at least partially, and parlaying that to your football team, when you talked about instilling a culture change per se, I want to know how difficult it was, if it were difficult at all, to insert that change in light of all the things that have gone on in the year 2020 as it pertains to social justice issues. Do you see that it's been more challenging, or to some degree less challenging, because obviously football players appear to be more conscientious and more aware and alert than ever before, because obviously they have to be with the NFL stars being as big as they are?
Yeah, you're right about that, Stephen. And to be honest with you, I think it was a lot easier because there was so much change that people wanted outside of us as well. And everything from the Floyd George murder to changing our name to all these things that happened. I'm sorry, George. Excuse me. I apologize. The George Floyd murder. It's one of those things that with the change people wanted, we had to make change. We had to come in and say, we're not going to stand for this type of stuff, guys. And if it does happen, there are consequences, which we've had to do. We've had to exercise, our right to pass consequences down to the people that had perpetrated these situations. And so what we've done is, when something came up, we made moves, we made decisions, we changed things, and we're just going forward. We're not gonna, look back and say, this is our history and it's who we are. No, this is our history. We've learned from our history. We apologize for it profusely, but we're going to correct this and we're going forward. And that's really the thing that we've tried to do.
Well, Max, let me chime in right here and transition to play on the to play on the football field, because, Coach, you guys are in the playoffs. You've won your division. But before I ask you my next question, I want you to hear some sound that you've already heard, no doubt, from your rookie, Chase himself, talking about Tom Brady. Could you play this for me, folks, please? Could you play that video?
Tom Brady, I'm coming. I want Tom.
Chase is a great young player.
went to Ohio State, so naturally I think the Ohio State Michigan thing wears off on him a little bit. I understand that, but we're prepared for a tough challenge, and should be a fun game.
He's a rookie, yet he's your defensive captain, and we know why, because he's an absolute stud. For the record, I have no problem with what he said whatsoever, but I'm not his coach. You are. What were your thoughts about it?
Right. Well, my thoughts on the issue is, oh boy. But the truth of the matter is, if you know who he is and you understand how much he loves the game, that was his really, man, I get to play against Tom Brady. I'm playing against the GOAT. And I don't know if you heard his comments from yesterday, but he said, someday when I tell my kids, I'll be able to tell my kids I played against him. And that's really what that's about, because when we played Pittsburgh on the Monday night game, we were standing around midfield and he said, I want Ben. And I said, don't worry, you'll get a chance during the game. He said, no, I want to get over and meet him. So he went across to the other side, went over and shook Ben's hand. He was so excited about that. And so when I saw this, that was my first initial but then the realization that he is so excited that he's going to be on the same field and he's going to compete against, the GOAT. I mean, he really is one of the all-time greats, one of the iconic players. That's what he's really excited about. So this should be fun on Saturday night.
Staying on the field, when you look at the quarterbacks, it's not like two young, big-armed quarterbacks. But when you look at the coaches, it's Riverboat Ron versus no risk it, no biscuit. What kind of game are we to expect here, Coach?
You can expect anything, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for BA. I think he really is one of the really good people in this league who's been through an awful lot. He's another guy that has, in my opinion, the right kind of attitude in terms of, hey, we want to just go out and have fun and see what happens. And that's really kind of his, because he's going to sling it all over the place offensively and defensively. They're going to be very aggressive. They're going to attack, and we've got to be able to counter all that as it all happens. So this should be a good one. I'm excited about it.
Coach, let me put you on the spot here. Obviously, people have been maligning the NFC East all season long because of the struggles record-wise teams have had, etc. We know that a playoff team has to come out of the division, but you guys obviously have improved tremendously. Your front four is vicious. It's something special to behold. I'm looking at that defense, but I will ask you this question. Do you have any issue whatsoever, even though you're the one benefiting from it this week, Coach, do you have any issue whatsoever if you have an inferior record, but you still get to host a home playoff game?
No,
I'm just
never
asking
have.
because I've been complaining about that for years.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it too. I'm one of those as you look at it, I'm one of those that I've been through it, and I've been through it. This is my third time. I was on an 8-8 San Diego team that everybody says shouldn't be in, and then we turned around and we beat Indianapolis at home. Then I was on a 7-8-1 team, and we turned around and we beat an Arizona team at home. And each time we advanced, and each time we scared the heck out of the next team we played. So again, somebody has to come out of the division, and it's about winning the division first and foremost. It's also about just getting into the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at it, in the NBA, they have teams that get into their playoffs with losing records or 500 records. But that's just the way it goes. And so from that point on, it's about what happens when you play the game. And so you have to have a winner from each division, and each divisional team that wins gets an opportunity to host. And that's just the rules. And we follow the rules. We play by the rules. I've been saying this for a while.
Coach, we heard another divisional rival head coach, Joe Judge, whose team was, affected by the fallout of your game against the Eagles. Not mince words, talking about the decision that was made to take Jalen Hurts out late in that game. Now, you benefited from it, and you guys are in the playoffs. But how did you feel as a head coach and competitor in a game with playoff implications against a divisional rival about that move in the fourth quarter?
I didn't realize it until somebody pointed it out. I'm sitting there watching, the defense and seeing what's going on, and then the realization that, hey, Hurts isn't in it. So, okay, good. That's good for us. And that was my approach. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, a head coach is going to do what they believe is best for their team. And they're going to go forward. When you're not playing for something at the end of the year, it's different. I've gone through that situation 3 times. And in each one of those situations, it is about doing what you think is best. I took Christian McCaffrey out of a game when he could have been a 1,000 guy, but I just couldn't risk the opportunity of him getting hurt at the end of the year for a game that didn't mean anything to us. So again, as a head coach, you're going to do what you believe is best for your organization, period.
Coach, before we let you get on out of here, we spoke about this off the air, but I felt compelled to ask you this for our audience because so many people care such a great deal about you and think of you as such a wonderful man as well as a wonderful coach. We know you've had your battle with cancer and what have you, and you're beating that battle. Can you tell us how you're feeling and how things are going for you right now?
Well, thank you, Stephen. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I've finished my treatments. I'm in my second month of recovery. You don't realize how strenuous the recovery is, after you've gone through something like that. And I'm just learning. I'm really, like my voice is I still struggle with my voice. My throat's still inflamed a little bit. My vocal cords are still agitated. But it's healing, and that's the huge plus right now is that I'm healing. I'm getting better. The doctors are positive about things so far. I have my big PET scan coming up at the end of this month, so a lot of things are pointing in the right direction for me.
Coach, all the best to you on behalf of the show.
We're
very, very happy that you're in good health. We're looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Good luck this weekend against Tom Brady and the crew, Coach. You take care of yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Coach Ron Rivera, Washington football team. Always appreciate seeing him. Coming up on First Take, more reaction to the riots in our nation's capital and reactions from the world of sports in a minute.